Good morning, guys. Um, I hope you're having a great day today. It's a beautiful, beautiful day this morning. Um, I'm out here on my back deck with my lovely cup of coffee and just enjoying the morning. And first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is after I meditate, I hop on the computer and I start looking at the comments that came in overnight on the videos on my channel and on Spirit Cafe. And something really interesting struck me this morning. Spirit Cafe we had such a lovely conversation the other day with Neil Donald Walsh. And what I loved so much about that conversation was I just enjoyed Neil. I thought he was very funny. I thought he was funny, he was sarcastic, but he had some really great comments and great things, especially on forgiveness, to talk about. It was beautiful. And I've been getting all kinds of comments about, oh wow, how amazing, how insightful, so many things I can use in my life. But I had two different comments, and I wanted to kind of talk about them this morning because I thought it really talks about the concept that perception is reality. I had one person who commented that they felt that that Neil didn't like me and liked Tamara, and read all kinds of things into it that I didn't feel at all when I spoke to Neil before, after, and during the interview. I really saw Neil as a fun guy who had some great information, and he actually very much reminded me of my family in regards that a lot of Catholic families have a snarky, sarcastic sense of humor, and I kind of caught that with him, and I thought that was very cool. I enjoyed my time with him, and the person just seemed so sure that he was a narcissist and all kinds of things, and I didn't get that at all. Then this morning, and that was yesterday, I read that comment. This morning, I get up and I read a whole comment about how I'm a narcissist and how I was using Neil to get my name out there, and and then a second comment about how it's not funny that I trashed my child. I was like, the whole thing made me ponder, because anybody who knows me knows that my child is everything. I mean, that's the only reason I'm in Ohio. It's because my son's in Ohio, right? And but my son is my life, and my son has the same sense of humor I do. So I find it really interesting that this person was so vehement against me and was talking about how I was using Neil to get my name out there, and there is nothing further from the truth. I really wanted to have a conversation with that man, but the key to this whole thing was each one of those people, their truth was valid for them. That one person saw me as a narcissist, and one person saw Neil as a narcissist, and it's very interesting to me how they each had a very different perspective. Most people who comment on it have said that really enjoyed it, really liked it, thought, in fact, the word wow is used multiple times in the comments. And what this person who commented on this morning was, Neil has already said that he would come do another video with me on my channel, and then he asked if what he said was we should do something on Spirit Cafe 2 or 3 times a year. So Neil obviously didn't have a bad time either. We had a lovely time. It was a lovely time, and it's so funny to me that people get their perspectives. Now, what's interesting is when I look at the person who commented this morning, that comment this morning had to do with the fact that they were very protective of Neil because they felt very much that Neil needed protecting of some form. Well, that's fear-based stuff. That's just focusing on negative stuff. There was no negative intention in any of that interview. But this person saw it. Well, why did they see it? Because their belief was they needed to protect Neil. Their belief was this person, doesn't let Neil talk enough, and so that was their perception. They put it out. Now, there's a famous line in the Bible: "Judge not, lest ye shall be judged." Now, what I find interesting on the comments is that both of these individuals, I'm sure they're loving and caring people, or they wouldn't have reacted the way they did. Absolutely, 100%. But both of them saw one interview and made judgments like right away. Bam! This is what it is. And from my perspective, neither one of them is correct. Because, and I was the one in the middle of the whole thing, and Tamara and I giggled and laughed after the whole thing was over because of what Neil had said about coming back on for 2 or 3 times a year. We actually loved our time with Neil, and I hope he did as well. We seemed to laugh and joke, and he seemed to be enjoying himself as well, and it was fun. But it really goes to show you that we color our world with what we choose to believe, and we color our world and we judge others by what we choose to believe or what we choose to look for. I often have found people who have had abuse in their life or have dealt with narcissistic abuse are very sensitive to it, and so they start to look for it outside of themselves. And I'm not saying either one of these people is that. I'm just saying that this is an idea of how this can happen. It's fascinating to me that so many people saw a great interview and really enjoyed it and really loved it. And, oh wow. And 2 people had an entirely different experience with it. And to me, it looks like just a product of belief. What do they believe? I often talk about the idea that I ask audiences all the time. I say, how many of you know a negative person? And the hands go up. And then of course the joke then is whoever didn't raise your hand, guess what? You're probably the negative person. But what was fascinating was the next line I say is, have you ever noticed a negative person always has something to be negative about? Because they're focused on the negative. And so they see the negative in the world. They see trauma where there isn't trauma. They see abuse where there isn't abuse. And that's okay. I mean, that's their own sense of protection. But the question is, what are they protecting themselves from? They're afraid something's going to happen. They're afraid somebody's going to be disrespected. They're afraid that you're going to be disrespected. And the one person who was bashing Neil was protecting me, which was very, very interesting. And the one person who was bashing me was protecting Neil. So it was like, to me, it was just a fascinating social experiment to see these individuals who saw something entirely different than the majority of people who saw that interview. And like I said, Neil said that he'd like to come on 2 or 3 times a year, and we said absolutely, we would love to have Neil back. And I asked him about coming on John and Blue. He said sure. He said let's set it up. So I don't think Neil had a bad time either. And so anyway, I just wanted to jump on because I thought the concept of perception is reality is interesting, because to those people, they perceived this, so it was their reality. And you can change your perception and you can change your reality. Anyway, guys, it's a beautiful day. Make sure you get out and experience it. And if you're a coffee drinker, make sure you have a cup of coffee for me. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye. Thank you, my friends, for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure that you've subscribed and you like it, you share it, but also comment below it. Let's get this community talking about these topics and spreading this information out far and wide so we can change the world for the better. Thank you.